I guess one of the challenges for the future is the liquidity aspect of it. If you think about the growth or the size of these markets as a percentage of GDP, is very low. So Indonesia is one example, Malaysia, Thailand, same thing. Compared to developed markets, they're still relatively small. So the future is how these markets are going to grow. The challenges for policymakers is how to support the growth in these markets in a way that they can also handle the amount of inflows and outflows.
I would think the local currency market, in terms of size, of course, in aggregate is much bigger than, say, for example, Asian US dollar bond market, which is roughly give and take 400 billion. But the local market is much bigger. But the fact that like the size actually does not equal to like the liquidity of the market.
Absolutely.
Because if you look at many of these local markets, I think probably with the exception of the Sing market, Malaysian, Hong Kong, or to a certain extent the dim sum market, are pretty much like free to like get in and out. You get the bond and whatnot. But I think the infrastructure is still not like conductive. In aggregate, yes, it's very beautiful. It's growing a lot, but you need to have the local people on the ground doing the local mandate rather than someone outside to invest in local. I think there's many hurdles.
We're quite happy to buy a lot of local currency bonds, primarily for a lot of the reasons that Roland mentioned, that structurally this is the place to be. Relatively speaking, the risks here are better priced than they are in the US or in Europe, and I think that's something that investors around the world are actually beginning to understand. The region is very well placed structurally. There's obviously some developments on the supply side that we'll have to deal with, but nonetheless, the demand will follow, and it is a very structural phenomenon. We're happy buyers. It does actually emphasize, though, one of the things that's very important is specialization. You can't be sitting on the moon allocating to Asia, because you do have the 10, 12 different markets with their idiosyncrasies, access, liquidity, and so from our perspective, we focus very much on having a specialist approach to investment in the local markets.